passing on. Baruchim Abayim, welcome everyone. A Guten Erev Thanksgiving, right? We're learning, as we do every Wednesday night, we try our best to learn a little bit from the Noam Elimelech, from the Heilige Rebbe from Lezhensk. Zechusa Yogan Leinu V'al Kol Yisrael Amen. Ve'ela Toldos Yitzchok ben Avraham. And these are the offspring, the generations of Isaac, the son of Abraham. Parshas Rashi Zal. So Rabbi Solomon Isaacides, the holy Rashi of blessed memory, teaches Yaakov, Esav, Amorim Parsha, Jacob and Esau, who are mentioned in this portion of the Pentateuch. Yesh lefarish al derech haremez. So says the Heilige Rebbe that one could explain this in a means of a hint. The Yitzchok remez ledin, that Isaac represents an archetype that hints to severity, strict judgment. Avraham remez lachesed kidua, and Abraham is a hint to his archetype, which is kindness, loving kindness, as is known. The Isa, and is cited tzadikim tchilas and yisurim, soifim shalva, v'shoyim ahefech. It's cited by our sages that when it comes to the saints, to the righteous, the tzadikim, they begin with pain and suffering, and they end with peace and tranquility. And the wicked have the opposite. I think the way I remember Rabbi Weinberg was saying, I think from the Rebbe Zisha, the difference between a mitzvah and an aveira. A mitzvah, it starts off with oy 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 and ends off with ah, and then aveira starts off with ah and ends off with oy oy oy. Right? The difference between a good deed and a sin, that the good deed begins with oy and ends with ah, and then the sin starts with ah and ends with oy. But there's other ways of looking at it. The sin could only be a oy, and the mitzvah could only be an ah. It's also a way of looking at things. V'zehu, and this is what is cited. This is the meaning of the scripture. Toldos Yitzchok ben Avraham. These are the offspring, the generations of Isaac, the son of Abraham. But Tzaloimer means to say, that after strict judgment is born kindness. So meaning that Abraham comes after Isaac here in this verse, even though chronologically Abraham comes first and then Isaac. That the archetype of Abraham comes after the archetype of Isaac. Avraham hoilodis Yitzchak, but Abraham begot Isaac. Tzaloimer achar chesed noiladin. But there's a reciprocal there, that no, at first there's that justice, judgment begets kindness, but then kindness begets judgment. Parshas Rashi, and so Rashi explains, he comments, Yaakov and Esav Amorim Parsha. That's Jacob and Esau who are mentioned in these chapters, etc. So Loimar means to say, Haremez Hazel Amor Parsha. This hint that's stated here in this chapter, in these chapters, talking about, because really, when we're dealing with the patriarchs, we're really teaching the lessons of their archetypes. So Loimar Haremez Hazel Amor Parsha Nemor al Yaakov Esav. That this, which is hinted to, that we speak about here about Isaac and Abraham, Baruch Shasli Nes B'Mokaim Hazeh, blessed is he who made a miracle for me in this place. That the same archetypical chronology goes both with Abraham and Isaac, and also with Jacob and Esau. Now the Yaakov Tchilas didn't say for Shalva, Canal, because Jacob, he is this idea of Yitzchak ben Avraham, of Isaac, the son of Abraham, that first you have Isaac, first you have the stringency, first you have the strict judgment, and then you have, which is the archetype of Isaac, and then you have the kindness and the peace, the archetype of Abraham. Canal, as we said above. Well, Esav hehefech, and with Esau is the opposite, because the righteous begin with difficulty and end with peace, and the wicked begin with peace and end with difficulty. And so Esau represents that archetype of the wicked, which means Avraham hoiled as Yitzchak, that Abraham begot Isaac. That is what's represented with this archetype of Esau. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. Have a very happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I saw a nice Dvar Torah about Thanksgiving from Rabbi Yehoshua Flug from Yeshiva University. He explains like this, that essentially the brachas, why? Because Yitzchak Avinu gave the bracha of Esav to Yaakov. That Isaac gave the blessing that was intended for Esau to Jacob because of his blindness, and Jacob doing what he did. And the point that they're bringing out with this is as follows, that because the commentaries explain that Isaac intended to give the material blessing to Esau and the spiritual blessing to Jacob. But Jacob needed both blessings. And that's what we have to learn about in Thanksgiving, to be thankful and to have gratitude and to be spiritual. Not to be, to be only materialistic. And if Esau got that blessing, he would only have been materialistic. But Jacob had the balance of the materialism and the spirituality, and he used the materialism to thank God. And I was saying something very interesting. I said this over at work tonight. I said, this is one of the things that generally we see is one of the differences in the Orthodox world between the modern Orthodox and the ultra-Orthodox. There are many things like that. And this is one of them. In general, the modern Orthodox world in America, they tend to embrace the holiday of Thanksgiving. The ultra-Orthodox world does not, for the most part. And some actually say that it's actually prohibited to celebrate. Some rabbis who I love and admire very highly. Now, in any event, the point that I'm bringing out with this, and so I say, I even though with most things I identify more with the ultra-Orthodox with the way I dress, for the most part, and the views about certain eschatology and things. In any event, one of the other things I agree more with the modern Orthodox world about secular education, at least being permitted. I don't think it's as mandatory maybe as the modern Orthodox look at it, and secular entertainment I embrace very strongly and enjoy very much, and I thank God for that, and I recognize the blessings that He gives, that we can enjoy these things, especially if they're clean and permissible, and sometimes give a good lesson also. But when it comes to Thanksgiving, I feel I have a stronger argument that the arguments that the ultra-Orthodox rabbis have against Thanksgiving are based on wrong information, and that which the modern Orthodox rabbis, I saw Rabbi Angel, Mark Angel, he wrote an article he sent out to the New York Board of Rabbis today, and he said the history of, because I think the mistake is believing the mythos of Thanksgiving, with the Pilgrims and the Indians, that's the logos of Thanksgiving. But the real logos of Thanksgiving was George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and executive proclamations by either presidents or governors throughout American history. And that's the logos, as we would say, of the nomium of Thanksgiving. In any event, so the point that I'm bringing this out for this reason is that one of my kids, right, they go to real Hasidic schools, and they don't celebrate Thanksgiving in those schools, and I don't expect them to. But the point, and in our house, we do the whole Thanksgiving stuff on Shabbos. We don't have the turkey on Thursday. We have the turkey for Shabbos. Why should we have 2 days in a week? A big Suda. I'd make a Suda Katana, Suda Saidoa, usually with chicken, something else. That's what I do. And I go to work, and it's after work. And in Washington, Lamaisa, he visited the prison on his Thanksgiving that he proclaimed. That was the mitzvah project that he did on Thanksgiving Day. So, in any event, and I'm glad now this video is more than 8 minutes long, so I'll have more commercials on it, right? So anyway, one of my kids, they came home from school, a real Hasidic school, right? Very cloistered Jewish school, ultra Orthodox. And she said the other girls in the school were talking about Black Friday. Meaning they don't have any musag of Thanksgiving, but they have a musag of Black Friday. That's having the bracha of Esav without the bracha of Yaakov. So I'll say over one other word. There's a book I think Louis Ginsburg wrote of Hasidic teachings. He was a Reform rabbi, somebody collected Hasidic aphorisms. And he didn't say which Belzer Rebbe it was. He said one of the Belzer Rebbes, he said, he understands, and this is to also to support my argument here, as he understands if someone puts on the clothing of Esav to get the bracha of a secular education, going to university. You want to be a doctor, a lawyer. But he said, but then he said, as long as when you graduate, you put back on the clothing of Yaakov. And bells, the levush is a very big thing. They're very, very, not everybody follows it for the most part. The bells are they're very strong, with that, to wear the levush. They say in bells, the same way like how the Chavetz Chaim said that there are Yidden in Paris who are Mechal Shabbos because they Yidden Radin, it says Lashon Hara, Bekanta Vort. So in bells, the way they said it is that the Yidden in Paris are Mechal Shabbos because the Bochum and bells are putting on long pants. So by them in Levush it's a very big thing. But even I don't know which bells Rav it was, but he said you want to put on the begodim of Esav to get the bracha. Here I am wearing, not wearing my Hasidic Levush today. Actually, when we did the Jewish service, I put on the bekasha and a hat, but I didn't have a white shirt on, so it might look a little funny with a flannel shirt with the bekasha and a hat. But I've seen other people do it. So, but then now I'm driving home and they say this is the night when all the cops are out because it's like the biggest drinking night of the year, the Erev Thanksgiving. So I said, I'd better have my uniform and my badge and everything out just in case I get pulled over. I'm not drinking, but if I am going on, and I'm not speeding either, but sometimes you go down hills and you don't know if you go over the speed limit or not. So we try our best to do what we're supposed to do. So anyway, but sof kol sof, as long as later you put on the begodim of Yaakov. So Mirz Hashem, tomorrow, because it's Yom Pagra, it's a Chaga, I feel that I wear a Hasidic shirt, not just a white shirt, like a Hasidic shirt, like I wear on Chol Hamoed. And when I come home for the Suda tomorrow, I'll put on a nice bekasha and the kolpik, and we'll have a nice EhrlichAvoiler Thanksgiving Sudas Haidoah. Not just like Rabbi Leff said, it's not a Sudas Mitzvah, it's a Sudas Haidoah. Certainly this year that President Trump won, why do we have to make a Sudas Haidoah? We have to thank God for the great miracle that we had, and we wish refuah shleima to Dennis Prager, to Shmuel Nechemia Ben Hinda, refuah shleima. I was upset when he said that, I don't know if God did this, but I know God is happy with this. By us, we understand that everything is hashgacha pratis, and even to repeat such apikoros is really problematic. Vinstun maybe Osler, and not only God is happy that we used our bechira to elect President Trump, and the bechiras, that we used our free will and voting, it's the same word, but more than that God is in control, and God did a miracle for us, and He gave us a second chance, and we have to use our bechira to hear zich ehrlich, and Baruch Hashem, there's a ruach tahara that's come over the whole world, and there's a big havdalah between the people who want more kedusha tahara in the world, even people who are meshukah into bad things, also want more kedusha and tahara if they're on one side, and the people who are on the other side, even if they're not in that blata, they want more tumah and averas, and so we have to fear zich ehrlich and voil. I should stop and get gas, but it's I guess I think further up it's a little cheaper, the gas. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. We love you. Have a meaningful Thanksgiving, not just a happy Thanksgiving, not just to stuff your face with turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes, and to watch the football game or Mystery Science Theater or the parade. And I enjoy the parade, and I enjoy the Mystery Science Theater, and I don't enjoy the football. But anyway, I enjoy the Twilight Zone, King Kong, Son of Kong, Mighty Joe Young, March of the Wooden Soldiers. That one I never watched. I'd always watch King Kong and the Son of Kong and Mighty Joe Young. That was Channel 11. And I think Channel 9 did have like Godzilla versus Megalon. So anyway, Sof Kol Sof, I enjoy those things, but the ikr is to give thanksgiving to God. And we can give thanksgiving. We have a nice movie like King Kong we can enjoy, or Godzilla versus Megalon, which maybe is a little bit cleaner, and but it's not as good, but it's still fun. And that the Rebbe Shalom gave us eyes to hear, to see, and ears to hear, and all the chemicals in our brain that we can have these emotions and enjoy these things, and not take it for granted, but be thankful to God for all the blessings. And so we should be thankful, and certainly this big blessing that God gave us. God does everything. I'm sorry, Rebbe Shmuel Nechemia, Refuah Shleima, Refuah HaNefesh, Refuah HaGuf. God does everything. I hope you wake up from whatever you're dealing with the Refuah HaNefesh, Refuah HaGuf, understanding that God runs everything. And God was punishing us the last 4 years with these evil Rishoyim who were trying to destroy this country, destroying the world, and brought so much tourists to the whole world, to Klal Yisrael and everywhere. And now, Baruch Hashem, we're going to have an Ahapachu, and it'll be Mirz Hashem, Mashiach should come too very soon. But let's try to fear zich ehrlich and do the right things. And it's not so easy all the time, but Ribono Shel Olam vierte Welt. Let's have not only a happy Thanksgiving, but a thankful Thanksgiving, a meaningful Thanksgiving, a Yom Ian in the Indian of Akaras Tov, and in that way we should be Zeichit to Skalas Kvod Shemayim, the Binyan Beis HaMikdash Meher.